Welcome, everyone. My name is Ana Arellano, and I'm an advisor at the International Education Office. Today, I'll be leading the Study Abroad in Environment and Sustainability webinar as part of our Global Learning Opportunities Week. During this week, we are showcasing a number of study abroad related resources, opportunities, as well as funding for study abroad. At the International Education Office, you can consult with our study abroad advisors, our coordinators, and we can connect you with peers who have studied abroad themselves as well. Today, we will provide information on study abroad and COVID-19. We will provide some study abroad 101 refreshers, explain in more depth how to study abroad in your major, provide you with some sample programs, and close off the session with 2 study abroad returnees and a Q&A session. So study abroad and COVID-19. As of today, or as of this recording for those that will view at a later time, summer 2021 programs and on are scheduled to run. The UCLA Study Abroad Office, together with its partners like UCEAP, is monitoring world events, and we're continuously assessing the safety of our programs for our students and faculty abroad. Students enrolling in UCEAP programs during the academic year can maintain their UCLA enrollments for the term they plan to study abroad for an extended period of time. Additionally, our coordinators are developing virtual alternatives should in-person fall through for our UCLA faculty-led program. We are working in an ever-changing environment, and more than ever, students who desire to study abroad in the near future will need to be flexible, as factors unfortunately outside of our control may change plans unexpectedly. If you are considering studying abroad and need to renew or apply for a passport, we know the U.S. Department of State has an extensive backlog of passport application, and it is currently taking longer than the usual 6 to 8 weeks processing window. We strongly encourage students who can to apply for or renew their passport as soon as possible to ensure that they have a passport in a timely manner. There are a handful of programs that will require students to secure a student or visitor visa before departure to enter certain countries, and this may require students to have a passport well before the departure date. This information is for U.S. citizens traveling with American passports, but similar delays may be occurring with International Passport Processing Office, so be sure to check in with them as well. We've asked participants to first view our Study Abroad 101 webinar, and we hope that's the case with most folks in this webinar. This session is intended to complement the 101 webinar from a topic-specific focus. If you've missed it, please do look over that recording on our GLOW website, but here are just a few refreshers. In our 101 webinar, we cover topics like the types of different programs available to UCLA students, how credits transfer to UCLA, satisfying requirements, the cost of these programs, and the application process, among other general topics. Complementing our 101 session, this session will focus on major guidelines. We will highlight specific programs that meet the theme of our session and share some returning advice. We've intentionally split the two to make these webinars a little bit more digestible. So UCLA students can experience a different spectrum of study abroad opportunities. There is no one type of study abroad and no one set time to study abroad for everyone. There are traditional university immersion programs where students attend a university like Yonsei University in Korea and take whichever courses they want with local professors and local students at that institution. A geography student can, for example, take 2 geography courses towards a major and 2 courses towards a general education requirements. Alternatively, students can also go on 3 to 5 week-long summer programs with a UCLA professor and take 2 to 3 classes in a more experiential learning environment. These programs are open to all majors and are known as our UCLA travel study programs. There are also new models of studying abroad. Now we have opportunities where students can intern for academic credits and make progress towards a degree. There are options where students can intern with advocacy groups in Dublin, and there are others where they are conducting field work in an ecology class in Costa Rica, for example. Students can also take courses with a cohort of local students abroad. The entire cohort travels abroad and returns for UCLA summer sessions. There are also options where students are on a program during a summer or during the academic year where they take courses exclusively with UC peers and with local instructors. We've mentioned just a few programs, but there are a dozen out there. And if you are eligible to receive financial aid, you can transfer over your scholarships, your grants, and loans to cover the cost of a UC Study Abroad program. A financial aid package will be adjusted to meet the total cost of your study abroad program. Always feel free to connect with a financial aid advisor for more information on how financial aid can be applied towards your study abroad program. If students are interested in going abroad, students should plan ahead and begin applying 6 to 9 months before their intended departure. Generally, for most of our programs, as long as you meet the eligibility requirements and submit your application on time, you should be going on that program. We have few programs that are limited space and 3 programs that require personal statements. For those that are limited space, we do honor the first come, first served system. If you are interested in going abroad for summer or fall 2021, our applications are now open, and our winter and spring 2022 applications will open this coming winter quarter. So now, the discipline of environment and sustainability encompasses a wide variety of majors. These include majors in the Department of Geography at UCLA and the Institute of Environment and Sustainability. When it comes to studying abroad as one of these majors, we'd like you to know that you don't have to study abroad in your major. In fact, most programs are not designed around a specific major. Students can go abroad to fulfill GE, minor, or foreign language requirements. Students can also go abroad to simply receive units or gain personal or professional development. With all these opportunities, students can still make progress towards their degree. But if you want to study abroad in your major, we do have a couple guidelines established by the Institute of Environment and Sustainability and the Department at UCLA to help you with the study abroad process. The majors and minors within the Institute of Environment and Sustainability offer courses from a broad spectrum of departments and disciplines, so you don't need to find courses in any one specific discipline, nor do you need to find courses that are identical to UCLA courses while abroad. The courses you wish to take abroad and fulfill major or minor requirements for at UCLA simply need to make sense for the major. Majors in this department have 2 broad categories, which are environmental science, both physical and life science focused, and environmental, social science, and humanities. Because of this, students can consider a lot of different courses while abroad. To petition for course credits, as the Institute requires the most recent syllabi or detailed course descriptions. They also recommend seeking pre-approvals, and this is simply to ensure you can receive course credit before enrolling in those courses abroad. And the Institute of Environment and Sustainability, they're very encouraging of students who wish to study abroad. For any questions or concerns, please speak with your major advisor. Like I mentioned, they are very open and encouraging for students to go abroad. If you have a major or minor within the Department of Geography and are taking courses from a geography department abroad, you can apply a maximum of 5 upper division courses towards the major and 2 for the minor. If you are petitioning for a course relevant to geography, but it's outside the geography department, a maximum of 2 upper division courses can transfer towards the major and 1 for the minor. To petition, students must present the most recent syllabi or detailed course description to the Department of Geography. Additionally, the Department of Geography has a list of courses previously taken abroad. You can access these courses through the department's website or by visiting the following bit.ly. It's bit.ly/geostudyabroad. And this is a great resource for students looking for geography courses abroad that have been pre-approved or approved in the past by the geography department. A very frequent question that our office receives is, when can I go abroad? And the answer is that a student can go abroad as early as the summer after their first year and as late as summer after their final year. We'd encourage students to speak with their academic counselors for guidance on which courses are more flexible to receive credit for while abroad, so that this can help or develop your academic plan. Every student's academic plan is different, and the best time to study abroad for one student can be different than that of another's. One thing to note, if you have a major within the Institute of Environment and Sustainability, is the senior capstone. Generally, students are unable to go abroad during their 4th year or their senior year, as the senior capstone is a year-long series, though there are some students who have been able to complete the series their junior year and go abroad their 4th year. Please speak with your major advisor for more information. Before continuing, as part of our Global Learning Opportunities Week, we are hosting a keyword scavenger hunt each day this week for a chance to win a $75 gift card. Today's keyword of the day is Matsuri. Please visit our event homepage, ieo.ucla.edu www.ucla.edu/go to submit the keyword by end of the day today and enter a chance for today's prize. Today's prize is a $75 gift card to Target. We'll leave the keyword up for a few more seconds. Again, go to ieo.ucla.edu/glow by 11:59 p.m. to enter for a chance to win a $75 Target gift card. Now, we would like to show you sample programs that may be of interest to you. Our travel study programs are 3 to 5 summer-only programs with UCLA professors. On this program of In the Footsteps of Hans Christian Andersen, students would travel to Copenhagen for 4 weeks, enroll in 2 courses, and make progress towards GE and writing 2 requirements. In our next program, Renaissance and Modern Italy, students can travel to Rome for 4 weeks, enroll in 3 courses, and make progress towards GE, diversity, and foreign language requirements. The UCLA Study Abroad Office has developed internship programs for academic credits. While there is no program designed in the discipline of environment and sustainability, if you are interested in global or international affairs, you can still participate in this program. The Global Affairs internships include locations in Colombia, in Ireland, Vietnam, and England. You are expected to be on site for 8 weeks during the summer and will receive credit for the International and Area Studies internship course. And if you're interested, you can enroll in the Intercultural Communication course as well. Placement options include advocacy groups, global health, and nonprofits, among others. Lastly, we have our UCEAP programs, and these are available during the summer and during the academic year. We have the National University of Singapore, where students can participate during the fall or spring terms. Students can potentially receive credit for their major, towards their minor, or their GE requirements. Sample courses at this university include globalization in Asian cities, water and the environment, geopolitics, geographies of war and at peace. So these are just sample courses that geography or majors of the Institute of Environmental Science have enrolled in the past and can be currently available. We have the University of British Columbia, where students can participate during the fall, spring, or the year terms. Students can potentially receive credit towards their major, their minor, or their GE requirements. Sample courses at this university include environment and sustainability, geography and natural hazards, and research in environmental geography. Lastly, we have the University of Edinburgh, where students can participate during the fall, spring, or year terms. Students can potentially receive credit for their major, their minor, or their GE requirements. Sample courses at this university include remote sensing and global climate change, people, landscape change and settlement, geographies of food, fundamental methods in geography. These are, just like I mentioned, just a couple sample courses, and there are a dozen other options. These were just a few that we did mention. Hopefully you have been interested in any one of those programs, but if you want to speak a little bit more about other opportunities, whether they be travel study, whether they be global internships or UCEAP, please always come by to our office to speak to one of our study abroad advisors. I would now like to transition over to our student panel and have them share more about their experience. Jasmine and Madison, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, can I please have you introduce yourself, your name, pronouns, major, and your program of participation?
Oh, sure, I can start. I'm Jasleen. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a 3rd year right now, environmental science major, and I participated in the UC Paris language program in the summer of 2019.
Hi, I'm Madison, she, her, hers. I graduated this last spring, geography major and double minor in GIS and urban planning, and I studied abroad in spring of 2018 at Lund University in Sweden.
Thank you both once again for taking the time to join us in our student returning panel. Can you guide us a little through your application process, more specifically the decision to participate in these specific programs as opposed to others, perhaps some deciding factors that you went through?
For me, I had studied French in high school and everything, but you know how it is in high school and everything. And I really wanted to be like fluent in another language and have that experience. So I thought like after the summer of my first year that like the Paris program would have been perfect. And yes, I had considered like studying something within my field and stuff, which might be something I'd consider like in the future, like in grad school. But I also felt like this is an experience very different from the classes that I typically take at UCLA. And like when you're studying a language in another country, it almost doesn't feel like you're studying in a way because you're so immersed in it. It just becomes like a part of your day-to-day life.
Yeah, so I decided to study abroad mostly because, I mean, everyone who studies abroad is going to tell you to study abroad and what an amazing experience it is. But I specifically chose Lund because I had time in my schedule. They have a really good program for geography majors. I really wanted to be somewhere they spoke English. And it was a really fun, immersive program being in a new city and meeting new people and actually being at the university.
Thank you both. One thing I do want to point out to our attendees, you guys both made a great point on this, is that you knew your study abroad goals. You knew what it was that you wanted to achieve while you went abroad. And that was more of your deciding factor why you chose the program that you did. Thank you both. Would you please provide more information on your process to enroll and select courses while abroad, or the academic petition process to fulfill UCLA requirements?
For me, it was a language program. So the languages, I just went straight from French 2, which I took the previous quarter. So I did French 3 and 4 abroad. Um, and it was the intensive track. So then you also take a a culture course as well. And that was kind of random placement. They only had 3 options and you preference them and then they place you in one. So it's not like much of an option, but they're all really great options. And to petition, I actually hadn't thought through the petitioning of the culture course and how that would factor in. But after I got back, I like looked more at the syllabus and everything and kind of like just evaluating what I had done. And I was able to petition it for the history GE to fulfill that requirement. And it was accepted because I think it did overlap with that. With the program that I did specifically, I think that what you're petitioning it for, you might just want to look at like the syllabus and stuff beforehand. And usually it can kind of overlap with some of the GEs that are offered. And I feel like if it does line up, that the office will be willing to accept it as a GE requirement. And petitioning also is not difficult. It's fairly easy to do. It's you just submit the syllabus and a description of the course and fill out like a singular form, and that's about it.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a different experience with being at an actual host university. I had to go through Lund's process of enrolling in classes. Quite different from UCLA in that you build your schedule and you rank classes on how much you would like to take those classes, and then they get back to you on which ones you were accepted to. So I was the first person to take the class I ended up enrolling in. It was one class the entire semester, but it was kind of broken down into 4 mini classes. And I ended up getting 2 of those classes to count towards upper division geography. It was a little precarious at times, and I was a little stressed about being the first one to take those classes and then try and work with the UC office and getting those to count. But it all worked out. I really enjoyed it, and if you have a will, there's a way. So don't be scared to try something new or be the first person to take a class, because I did it and I survived and it worked out fine.
Thank you. Well, just reiterating exactly what you mentioned, both Destiny and Madison. It's not the petition process. It doesn't have to be difficult. It may not be difficult. And as long as you know what it is that you are petitioning for, why you want it to count towards your UCLA degree requirements, when there is a will, there is a way, just as Madison said. Definitely, yes. Your program was a UC Center program, which meant you had classes with only UC students. How was that experience for you?
I think that it was really great in the sense that like everyone's from California and I feel like there's some shared experience with all the UCs and everything. So everyone can kind of relate on that level. The friends that I made over there are people that I'm still like close with to this day, and they all go to different UCs and stuff. And even after the program, like I've gone and visited them and like everything. So I think it was a really good experience to like have that with people that like you share so much in common with. Also just being in Paris, they really love people from California over there. So if you tell them that you're from California, they get really excited. So I think that was something that all the UC students definitely related to, I guess, over there.
Okay, gotta love California. Thanks, Jasmine. Madison, you participated in a spring semester program, and students often worry that semester programs can set you academically behind. Can you provide a little bit insight on studying abroad on a semester program and how you prepare to ensure you continue making progress towards your degree?
Yeah, so I was kind of in a unique place where I only had to fulfill 2 major requirements. So I had a lot of overlapping classes. I was already set to graduate early, and I had time in my schedule to study abroad during the spring. Um, and I would say if you're like that, then go for it. I think studying abroad in spring was really unique, and I definitely got a little bit more out of the experience being there for longer than, say, a fall term or a summer term. I can speak to specifically for Lund that the unit conversion for their classes works kind of to your benefit. So I took my full course load was 24 units in UCLA units. So it was just a little bit less than what 2 quarters would have given me. So it's definitely doable, especially if you do another study abroad during the summer or take like one summer class with UCLA, you'll still be on track and you'll be fine. So I think for every one class at Lund, that's like 6 UCLA units, which is like a lot, but they're very comparable workload and whatnot. But yeah, again, if you there's a will, there's a way. If you have time in your schedule, I definitely recommend spring. It's a great time to be in Europe. Flights were a lot cheaper than, say, the fall or summertime. And I did get to interact a lot with some other UC students. So I was in a group of like 25 other UC EAP students from other UC campuses. So I was able to kind of have the best of both worlds of meeting like local Swedish students and then also having like California people.
Thank you, Madison. And thank you both for once again taking the time to speak with your peers and to share your insight on study abroad. To our webinar attendees, Jasmine and Madison were generous enough to share their email. If you would like to direct any questions to them after this webinar, make sure to make a note of their email. If you have any questions for them now, Mauricio will be able to take some Q&As for our returnees before we take some questions for our general info session, if there are any. Okay. So if you do have questions, make sure to just enter them in the Q&A. We will get to those as well. But now if you have any questions about the info session then in itself, we'll be happy to answer those now. So please make sure you enter them into the Q&A. There is one question that has been answered. If you have any other questions, we'll take just a couple moments just to have you enter them into the Q&A. So before we end our presentation, if you're interested, be sure to scan this QR code that you see on screen with your phone camera to sign up and receive study abroad program updates, or you can sign up by visiting bit.ly/UCLA.IEO list. So once again, to sign up to receive more study abroad program updates. And we have one Q&A that said, just want to say thank you. This is very informative. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you need any other resource, please make sure to reach out to your major advisor for more specifics on academics. But I'm very, very glad to hear that you did find this webinar helpful. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to direct them to our general inbox at info@ieo.ucla.edu. Thank you all for joining us today. You're also more than welcome to join our study abroad virtual drop-in advising. They're available Monday to Thursdays. Additionally, please be sure to reach out to your major advisor or major departments for more information or guidance with study abroad. Thank you all so much and hope you have a great rest of your day.